I've taken some big losses in my investing career, one of which is over six figures, and the process of recovering from that loss can be quite tricky and hard to understand unless you've been through it yourself. So today I want to share with you what my strategy is for resetting and recovering from those big losses you take when investing.
Can you break bread with me? Ice with bones like gold.
How's it going, guys? Ryan here with another investing video, and today we're talking about quite a taboo topic, and that is losing money on the stock market, and something that every investor will experience at some point during their time on the stock market. And it's probably relatively common more than anything, but people don't like to talk about it, and more importantly, people don't talk about how do you deal with those sort of situations where you do lose money. As I mentioned before, I've lost six figures on a stock before, and that was one of the most defining moments of my investing career. And prior to that point, I'd been effectively doing short to medium term trading, and effectively I'd had, 4 to 5 figure losses previously, and that was all right. That was quite manageable. But this stock that I held on to went from 40 cents or above 40 cents all the way down to single digits, and that was absolutely gut wrenching for me, but one of the best lessons that I ever learned as an investor, and I'll truly treasure that, as weird as it sounds, because it changed the way that I look at stocks and how I invested. And effectively what it allowed me to do was develop a strategy which I call the 3 R's, that allows me to deal with these sort of situations where I do incur a loss. Now, 3 R's effectively are relax, reflect, and reset. This basically allows me to get into the right mind frame in order to deal with these situations and apply them. So let's get into it. So what is relax? Well, effectively what happens when you incur a loss is you feel very emotional. You feel pretty down. You're not happy with it. And effectively what you need to do is separate your emotions from the situation. If you start emotionally trading or investing, you will go on tilt, as a lot of people call it. And when you're on tilt, it means you start making rash decisions to try and claw that money back. So for instance, let's say you lost $1,000 on the stock market, you might go and double down on something else that's not necessarily a stock you've done your research in, purely due to the fact that you want to make that money back which you have lost. And that is the natural thing to do, but it's also a very good way to lose a lot more money on top of what you've already lost, because effectively what you're doing is gambling and not putting in the right type of research and strategy and relaxing before you reflect on the situation. So effectively what you want to do, you want to relax, you want to detach yourself from that investment. Once you've then got a clear mind, that is when you want to come back and reflect on the situation. Look at your investment. Look at the strategy that you had effectively put in place. What did you do? When did you get in? When did you get out? Why did you get in? Why did you get out? What occurred during those 2 points of times? Whether it be from a fundamental point of view, was there pieces of news that affected the stock price and caused it to drop? Or from a technical point of view, where a point of support was broken through, for instance, and the stock dropped to another level of significance, I suppose. And you want to reflect and see what has actually occurred in that situation. Why did you make a loss? Had you unfortunately bought an overbought stock, or what happened? And then when you actually break it down, you can understand what went wrong. And then that's effectively when you reset. You take that information and put it into your strategy. Don't let that information go to waste. You want to make sure you don't repeat those same mistakes over again, because otherwise it's just a loss. And that's not what we want. We want a lesson. You want to actually gain something valuable out of this situation. So you want to reset yourself. You want to reset your strategy, inject the new information into that, and don't repeat the same mistakes. A great way to do that is by keeping something like an investment or trading journal, where you detail down exactly what's happened, and then you can go back in the past and review exactly what you've done. In doing this, effectively what you've done is you've taken the emotion out of the situation, you've analyzed it from a factual point of view, and then you've implemented the changes into your stock market investing or trading strategy so that you don't make these decisions again. When you start really dealing with some decent amounts of money like I have been encountering, and you're losing, 6 figures on a stock, that's when this stuff becomes really, really serious and really, really important, because you want to be mitigating your risk as much as possible when you are investing, because at the end of the day, this is your money and you can do something about it. You've got full control. The more you can mitigate your risk, the more money you're going to make in the long term, because you're going to be able to minimize your losses and increase your profits. So guys, that was a really, I suppose, basic way of explaining these sorts of things. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it so much. It helps me out with the algorithm and all that cool, YouTube sort of stuff. Leave down below a comment as well. As I mentioned, what are some of your experiences when taking a stock market loss? I know they can be incredibly hard and incredibly emotional, but what did you do in order to recover, reset, and push forward and start making some really good money off the stock market? And if you haven't already, remember to subscribe as well to keep up to date with all these awesome sort of videos. And with that, guys, I hope you do have an awesome day. See you next time. Cheers.
Not here with me.